Okay, I'm ready.
You just have that fear, you know, where you're sitting, where you're in a relationship with someone, or you've just met them, and the girl just is at the end of the bed and she starts going.
Has that happened to you a lot? I suppose you date a lot of women.
No, it hasn't.
Arts.
It hasn't. Venom. Okay, snaky. It hasn't snaky. She's so nice. Has that happened to you a lot? Leading question. Vicious. We were talking about small men. Small men, it's a problem. Small women, because women can be any size. Well, as a man,
they can.
As a man,
yeah. I have one friend who's very heightest. The only one I have that I've been very vocal about. He won't go with anyone under 5 foot, under 5'5", really.
Sorry, a woman won't go.
A
with
man. He's a male friend of mine.
Yeah.
He probably will listen to this, hopefully, and he won't be with any woman really under 5'5", even if they're beautiful.
Why?
I don't know.
And how
he loves these statuesque.
What height is he?
5'10".
Yeah, well, anyway, no, Hannah's friend, I can't remember. Beata, you know, Hannah, hey, Hannah,
yeah.
left, exit, stage left. She talks like that. Yeah, no, I was with this guy, but he's too small. And she was describing, I was in bed and I couldn't find him. Looking around under the sheets, where is this guy? So, but apparently, if you do see a woman with a shorter guy, then you think, God, that guy must be amazing in bed.
Yes, I had one boyfriend who was 5'5", so an inch smaller than me. But my God, he was moving the bed across the room. Every trick of the trade. Yeah, amazing. A great lover, and he was very well built. He had it all.
Why does my facial expression go like this? Look, every trick of the trade. The trade being sexual congress. Okay, Congress. Speaking of sexual Congress, what about the Conclave that is happening probably right now at this moment in time?
It's very exciting.
And have you seen the film Conclave?
I haven't. I can't wait to see it.
Well, the Conclave. What was the Pope was? The new Pope was going to be a trans Pope, was it? Was that the idea?
Is that what it was?
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Definitely not.
I don't think so.
No, it was. But they didn't realise.
The church only forgave Galileo officially in 1996. They haven't gotten up to the speed of trans yet.
Okay, no, but that was the plot. Listen, Daniel, let's introduce the show. I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to And That's Why We're Not Together,
Very
starring
loud.
David McSavage and special guest Aideen McQueen.
Thank you, Aideen, for coming here at such short notice.
Thank you for having me.
God, that was a hard cut.
Yeah, sorry.
And we have my Prince Daniel, who's upset me with that business. Yes. Well, it's great to have you here, Aideen. Sorry, I you know, sometimes you stand up. I was sitting in a chair and you stand up and suddenly there's some weird little.
Not yet. That hasn't happened to me yet.
Well, it has happened to me my whole life. You see, I used to do a one-man band show where I'd have a bass drum, but it was rested on the small of my back, and I think I did long-term damage because it was like that for years and years and years. When the children were small, that's how I would go out and make a living. You know, standing. God, I did that for so long. I was arrested, beaten up so many times.
Really? Beaten up?
Well, I got into so many fights.
Oh, people, I remember once.
Well, I got into fights because, you know, with other buskers, you know, because they'd try and take your spot. And to me, that was like a direct attack on me and my ability to make a livelihood and therefore taking money away from my children. So I'd be very motivated. It awakened a sort of territorialism. Very hot, thank you.
That is
thank
hot.
You.
I'm feeling very territorial.
Listen to the bass in my voice. Let it rumble next to you and vibrate you into a state of frenzy. I can make women pregnant by just talking. God, that's mad, isn't it?
Imagine if you did. That'd be some miracle now for me at 42 to...
Can you have babies?
I got my fertility tested just to see where the lay of the land was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
I'm waiting the results.
Oh,
but your fertility falls off a cliff after 40 apparently.
Okay.
Only 10% of women can. And you know, society and kind of your uncle and your mother and people, taxi drivers will say, you'll be grand. Sure, my old auntie, she had a popped away baby, 72 she was. Total accident. She thought she was taking a shite. 17 twins popped out. So people have these stories.
Is that a bit of new material or just... Yeah. Daniel, don't be so critical.
What?
Yeah. So you hear all these stories, but so would you like to have a baby? A baby?
Yeah, if the right man came along, yeah.
Do you want me to maybe? Do you know, like if you had like willing participants, you could have 5 or 6 guys, and then each one would give.
Kind of like a Mamma Mia type situation.
Yeah, and then whoever sperm was strongest. Is that how it works? Like if you had sex with 2 or 3 guys on the same day, and they all inside you, does your body choose the strongest sperm?
I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah, I think
sounds slightly scientific.
Yeah.
It would be. We can test it out. If anybody, I'm going to do like that woman Bonnie Blue now. I'm going to do a call out on the Dave McSavage show on the podcast. That's why we're not together. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Dave's house tomorrow. At 12 o'clock, any man can enter literally and figuratively, and may the fastest sperm win.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody will come along.
Yeah, that would be so sad, wouldn't it?
I'd be like, hey.
If you said free sex and then you look out the door.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous now about the subject I'm about to talk about because and I have to explain it a little bit, Aideen, and I feel I won't be articulate. I'm just preempting what I'm about to say, and I don't want to step on any toes, and I feel like I'm slightly walking on eggshells. Okay, so I just have to give some context. I was supposed to do a gig. Oh, sorry, go on.
Okay, can I just, before we go on,
cool,
if I ever say something where I'm just in the spur of the moment being funny,
Yeah.
could you not say, oh, is that a new bit or something? Because it kind of cuts the flow, and then it makes me conscious, and then I'm like, just being myself, Dave.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm just being myself. I'm not trying a bit.
It did feel like you were. I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
And
go
how
on.
am I meant to be? This is a comedy podcast. I'm not an
It's
expert.
not a.
So I'm just going to be myself. So I don't know. Maybe you obviously you didn't have the guests that you wanted. And
No,
I'm like,
that's
no.
no.
But why would you say that to me?
Yeah, Aideen. Listen, Aideen.
Like
First of all,
it bothers me.
Okay,
It
let's. Good.
It's very.
It always happens
patronising.
with who?
You
Okay.
always do
Well,
this.
well, you know, it's funny. When we, like, are you genuinely irked?
I'm genuinely upset. Yeah, I am. Like I'm just being myself. I don't know what you're. This constant analysis of me.
Okay.
And is like, how am I meant to be? I mean, I just have to be myself.
This is so good. This is like every relationship I've ever had with a woman, and it's like, and I've never learned.
And I don't even get to have sex with you, Dave.
Oh my God!
I don't get to have that
Daniel,
beaky nose in between my legs.
Oh, okay.
And
my son Daniel,
giving me this kind of
Okay,
stuff.
okay. Well, first of all, okay, yes, I accept.
Like, do you say this to girls you're courting and people are being too lied to? I doubt it.
No, do you know what it is? I was talking to Paul Chowdhury about this. I remember, a lot of times you do a set, right, and you say, oh yeah, just come up with this bit of new material, and you start recounting the new material to the other comedian, and it's awful. Always. I mean, I remember
But
one time I
wasn't.
did it.
I was
No.
being
I
genuine,
know you
telling
were.
you my story.
I know you were. One time I was doing exactly that to this comedian, Paul Chowdhury. Doesn't matter who it was, but anyway, he was so bored with. He could see this joke that I was trying out on him, and he walked away and almost walked in front of a car. So what I'm just trying to say, we are so hyper tuned to bits or trying
Yeah.
it, you know what I mean? So no, but you're right. It wasn't charming. It wasn't
No,
decent.
it's
It
not
shut you
helpful.
down.
Yeah.
I realised that. But what has come out of it is this.
Yeah, this bit of
is-
honesty, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you for acknowledging.
Okay, your hands. Was that what you did? Oh my God. I'm so not intimate. Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, look, it was
Okay,
a good
so
bit. The
wasn't a bit.
72-year-old
I just
woman,
mentioned-
72-year-old woman, I can't believe me, 72-year-old woman. She thought she was going to have a shite and she gave birth to 15 children. It did. Don't look
Yeah.
at me as if, don't get angry at me because I'm not reacting the way you wanted to your thing.
I'm not angry with you. I'm just saying.
Do you get angry with the audience if a bit doesn't
well,
work?
we just-
I bet you do. You kind of go up to them after. No, let's stop. Everyone, I thought that the joke was really good, and I thought your reaction was bad.
No, I don't. And
No, I know you
it's
don't.
not that your reaction is bad, it's just that you're calling me out in free flow. We had a nice moment there, we held hands. Can we just leave it at that?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Why are you being...
No need to over-analyze, you know.
Is this how you are in your relationships? Do you do... Yeah, fair enough, it's
I've
good.
never been in a relationship where somebody will do that. Like, you know, they will call me out for being myself. But anyway...
I think we need to...
Go on. Do you mean if somebody more is because of the power balance here? Because I'm less successful.
You've ruined
Oh,
it for everyone.
Jesus Christ, I feel very comfortable with you, Aideen.
Okay, can we just keep going then?
I feel very comfortable with you.
Okay, get on to your bit that you want to talk about.
I feel very comfortable with you.
Okay, thank you.
I feel
Now,
comfortable with you.
go on with the bit that you want to talk about.
Yeah, but I do, but I feel comfortable.
Okay, well that's good. Now we can... Okay, go on with the bit that you want to talk about, this gig that has come up.
Now you're taking the power back. You're directing the show. This is my show. Okay, Aideen, can I just say, look, I'll be mindful of that, and I don't want to cut your flow or anything. Mm-hmm. And you've just held up a mirror to my energy that I'm directing towards you, and you've just shoved it right back in my face, and it doesn't feel nice, ladies and gentlemen. So just let's sit with this awfulness, but then let's move on. So, Daniel, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, peace and love.
We'll just all say a little prayer and, and it'll be all right.
Dear God, let me and Aideen, you know what I mean, have a understand each other and not clip each other's wings. Okay, so I was supposed to do this gig on next Friday for an event for Pride Week in Navan, and it was a table quiz. And amazingly, the organizer couldn't be a nicer guy. He said, would I do it? Would I host the table quiz as the character of the Bull Mick, which I thought was a very funny idea. Bull Mick is this homophobic character to the point where he's clearly probably gay himself, right? But I mean, and the thing is, with people who have these extreme beliefs, it's hard to really talk to them and try to, you know, sort this stuff out because they're so entrenched, you know. So the idea was to ridicule homophobic people, and that's what the point of that character was. And I thought that was patently obvious, and obviously it is to the people organising the Pride event. So we were all going ahead. We were written scripts, and it was going to be a lot of fun. But then a few days ago, the organiser of the festival contacted me and said that a trans woman had contacted him. We'll just say, give the trans woman a name like Maria or something. Maria, okay. And I've met Maria, by the way. When I first met her, very cool. Thought she was great and all the rest of it. And she said to the organisers, there's no way David McSavage can perform at your festival because, partly because of comments he made about Graham Linehan. If people don't know who Graham Linehan is, he co-wrote with Arthur Matthews, Father Ted. He's also written the It Crowd and
Black Books
and Motherland. Like, he's a very, very talented comedy writer. But also he's got very outspoken views, anti-trans, and I don't know how you would describe his...
Yeah, he was a trans skeptic at the start, and then he rolled with it so much that his views are kind of obsessional.
Yeah.
His marriage broke up by his own admission as a result of it. And I would say, and I can understand this, because when you're with somebody who is in this bubble and then becomes more and more and more in their own bubble until they're totally consumed by it.
Yeah.
It's not so much their belief anymore, it's their obsession with that belief that drives a wedge. You can't survive with a person like that or interact with them in a normal way. So he became obsessed, I would say.
Yeah, you look at Graham Linehan, and he sounds like he's on the verge of fucking tears all the time. He seems like, and you're thinking, it's not. Why are you involving yourself in this?
Why is he involving it? He was the coolest man in Ireland at a stage. He was the kind of what I call the hot press generation, or my friend Paddy Cullivan called the hot press generation of people who were like these cool guys. They're about 10, 15 years older than me. They didn't believe in the church. They were irreverent. You know, they didn't have any interest in Irish nationalism or Ireland as a whole. It's different from the younger generation, are more rebellious and IRA. But he was very cool.
Okay, so I made comments. I was on a podcast with a guy called Aideen McQueen, who's also my tour manager, and he's a big conspiracy theorist, and he's also part of the reason I'm not going ahead with this gig in Navan. So I was on Aideen McQueen's podcast last September, and he was asking me about Graham Linehan, and I said that I disagree with Graham Linehan. My values don't align with Graham Linehan, but I think he's courageous in the sense that he's thrown away his career and he's fucked everything up for his beliefs. And then Aideen asked me, you know, would you work with Graham Linehan? And I said, yeah, I would, I guess. I'm not. I don't know if I said I guess. I said yes, I would. Now. I mean, you know, because of his comedy genius and so on. But okay, so so Maria then at that time clipped this interview and took the part of the interview out where I said I disagree, my values underline. Just had me saying, I think Graham Linehan is courageous. So it looks like I'm shouting out for Graham Linehan.
Terrible.
No, well, that's okay. It's fine. And then so okay, right. So I said I contacted Maria and I said, listen, this is the full context of the thing. And then Maria said, okay, she posted an apology video, and I said, well, that's very fucking sweet. Thanks a million.
Okay.
That's sound. So I thought that was it. But so then. But also my tour manager, the guy who's running my tour and booking all my gigs at the moment, Aideen McQueen, is, you know, he's quite a conspiracy theorist, and he's in the past he's liked some tweets that are anti-trans. This is like you know, a year ago, because I had talked to Maria and I said, listen, I've told Aideen to get off the Twitter, which he has stayed off the Twitter for a year or whatever. Where are we now? So the organizer of the festival said, listen, it's problematic because it's a pride event. It's not like a normal gig, right? So a pride event, if people don't know, like it would be like it's kind of like a protest and a celebration of your
Sexual freedom. Okay.
And so it's without that awful phrase, safe space. But I mean, I can't think of a better phrase. So people from all different colours of the sexual thing, and, you know, when they go there, there's no fear of people giving them a funny look. It's just a place where they can feel really fucking awesome or whatever, right? So the organizer said, look, if you make a video, maybe some of the people suggested if you make a video saying, look, you believe trans men are men, trans women are women, and maybe, you know, say that you're cutting ties with Aideen because of you know, and then at that point it just felt like what was just a fun, frivolous event has suddenly become something else. And also, you don't want to go. You know, when you're performing in front of an audience, you know, you want to feel that they're up for it, and just the idea that you'd walk on and people would be uncomfortable, you know. And so I just thought it'd be best not to perform there. I'm sure I'm not telling this story right, Daniel. Have you understood what?
I understood it perfectly.
I understood,
yeah.
So Maria really has a problem with Aideen McQueen, and, you know, because the other thing is because I'm not trans. I mean, it's such a small amount of people who are trans.
0.4% of the population.
So it's very hard. Well, even if it's so they're very marginalised. I mean, there's so much to say about it, really, and then should you even say the thing? Like, I mean, I think you judge a country. I remember being young and thinking you measure the worth of a country by how they interact with vulnerable people or marginalised people. Yeah. And so by that measure, I would say Denmark, because we lived there for 6 years, is one of the best countries in the world. So, you know, I think people have a lot of empathy, and I do have a lot of empathy for trans men and trans women, like huge amounts.
Yeah.
And I do think they're very, very courageous to, you know, because they're so unique and they occupy such a small space. And my heart goes out to them completely.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, so Maria stopped me performing in that Pride event because I'm working with somebody whose values don't align with the trans values. And so I don't know. Go on, sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. We are all constantly working with and aligning with people whose values don't align with our values. If you buy something off Amazon, if it's produced in a Chinese factory where there's child labor, it's using minerals that are mined by Congolese children, it's the environmental impact on the world. We are constantly aligning ourselves with values. It would be very difficult to do. You'd have to live out on Skellig Vihil on a rock, eating a bit of moss. So people who criticize other people are casting stones. What do they say?
Glass
that nice
houses
thing.
and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, he was without fault cast the first stone. We are constantly aligning ourselves with people whose values don't match our values. If we did not, we would have to not be able to interact in society. You can be you can be an ally by doing your gig in Navan and by doing anti-trans material, if that makes sense, or pro-trans material.
Right.
Can you be an ally in other ways, I would say, because you associate with this person that you kind of have to work with. The comedy scene in Ireland isn't huge.
No.
I know this guy, he's really good at his job.
Yeah, he is.
Really
I mean, that's
job.
that's the thing. He is very, very good at his job. And sometimes, when I'm sitting in the car with him and he's talking, I'm like, and he doesn't really. He kind of keeps. He knows where I stand about stuff, so I don't hear it too much. Yeah.
So you are, by doing that, you're a bulwark against it.
You see, my values I feel are quite strong, and I don't take values that I don't agree with that seriously, I suppose. This thing about, and also when I first met Maria, she was talking about Aideen Killian, and I was thinking, Aideen, I mean, he's not this big intellectual heavyweight by any means at all.
No.
And he's not a Machiavellian, and but Maria would see him as an anti-trans campaigner.
Has he done campaigns?
Well, I think he's been to rallies or something. This is what the organizer of the festival was telling me. But that he's an anti-trans campaigner. But you see, that's what I don't think he is. But I'm not a trans woman.
Yeah.
So to Maria, or to a trans woman who's clinging on to their right to exist and their autonomy and their identity and all that sort of stuff, and they feel under threat by just these looks and these tweets and these likes and all. So to us who are not trans, it's just, who the fuck gives a shit about Aideen Killian liking a fucking tweet? But to Maria, this tweet is like it's a missile. She's fighting a war, and it's a missile directed. So like the idea of Irish comedy scene, which is so fractured anyway, being taken over by the far right. I mean, I don't take the far right seriously at all. But then, on the other hand, they say, when evil is happening, what do they say? There's that phrase, when good people don't do anything, evil can thrive, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So no, it's interesting, and we're talking about it. It'd be great to have her on.
Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it's like to be a trans person. I mean, I think we all feel trapped in our own bodies sometimes, or our bodies have disobeyed or betrayed us. But to be like that,
our bodies have disobeyed us or betrayed us. That sounds so sweet. That sounds kind of sexy, actually. That you just yeah. But it's funny. We're both alcoholics.
Yeah. And
to a lesser degree, maybe we understand what it's like. And we've heard this so many times when we were, people. Can you not just have just a drink? Oh, we can. We definitely can have a drink. Yeah. But it just won't stop.
It just won't stop.
And so when people are not alcoholics, it's literally very hard for them to get their heads around it. Do you? But I suppose everybody recognises alcoholism.
Everybody thankfully recognises it as a disease.
Yeah.
Really, very few people would tell you to just cop on now.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing you do learn when you're going to things and doing recovery is it's all about you. Look within. You have to adjust to society. We weren't able to adjust to a society. We drank, and now we have to just adjust. I can't make society change. The difference though is, and I know that, so with toilets and everything like that, trans people can't really make society change. They have to kind of accept. But at the same time, I would imagine as a trans woman, you're vulnerable from attack a lot. That is obviously really scary.
Yeah.
Like physical attack, I could imagine people would be like young lads shouting at you, all that kind of stuff. It's hard. I can't. I can't imagine what it's like, and it's not a subject where I can really be equipped to talk.
No, and I think you're right. I think a lot of this stuff, if people were really willing to change and really wanted to get honest and just really get beyond this, you could just sit with the parties involved. I think.
Yeah.
You
could have a round table right
Oh
there.
yeah, and also apparently, well, Aidan Killian told me the godmother of his child is trans. And he's put lots of gigs on, where trans people have performed. But anyway, the organizer, I felt very sorry for the organizers of the Pride table quiz thing. But I feel quite confused in terms of thinking, well, do I cut ties with Aidan because it just didn't feel right, I'll be honest. And I know, and people are afraid to talk about this stuff, and fear isn't a good place to be in as well.
Yeah,
No.
is it because you're not playing the gig anymore? Is that a victory for trans women now?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so, is it?
I think you just went, what's the least amount of damage I can do in this situation, and left.
Yeah. And also I think on that day, the UK Supreme Court clarified the law and they were talking about biological women and being women or something like that. So, I don't know.
I think I would have loved to see the Bull Mick doing a quiz. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Pope has died. So that's something.
Yeah, the Pope
the Pope said that trans women were daughters of God.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice thing to say.
I feel sorry that I couldn't do the gig. It would have been a good laugh. And I feel sorry for...
Probably well paid as well. I rang them straight away when he said, I can't do that gig. I'm like, I'll do it for half of what he was going to do it for.
No.
I'm there on Friday.
So we've got a gig actually in Kerry in Kenmare, is it?
I thought it was Dingle and Tralee.
Oh, Dingle and Tralee. Have you performed in Kerry much?
Never.
Have you not?
Never performed there. I might have done some Shannon singing back 10, 15 years ago, but that's it. Like, I've never done comedy.
I did, I think, when
I did a score in an Ogue in the 90s.
When I was just starting off in comedy, I performed in, where was it, Killarney, and I did a terrible gig. And then I did another terrible gig in Listowel. And based on those two experiences, I thought, I hate Kerry now. But it was just two bad gigs, so. But that was when I was starting off.
Have you done it since? Surely you've gone...
Oh, yeah, I think I've played the INEC, the smaller room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Class.
So you didn't contribute much to the conversation we just had about me being banned from playing in Navan. How come?
Well, like yourself, I'm scared. I'm not sure what to think. I feel like it could be thrashed out. Has Maria spoken to Aidan?
Yeah, right.
Is Aidan actively trying to suppress? It depends on what you think.
Yeah.
What you think transphobia is.
Right.
Is transphobia the active suppression of trans people through intimidation, violence, direct threat, or is transphobia not helping the trans cause?
Right.
So the definition of all of these things has changed recently. So the definition of misogyny would be you're actively hurting, bullying or suppressing women. Now the definition of misogyny is more like you're not an ally, you're not helping, you're not directly, you are man. So before it was equality of opportunity. I have a company, I'm going to allow women and men the same chance to get the job. Now you're a misogynist or you're not a feminist if you don't give men and women the same number of jobs on your board or something. So the definition of what it is to be an ally of somebody has changed.
So it's not just good enough to sit on the fence kind of thing, or just
Well,
not say,
I
not
don't
even
know.
not sit on the fence, but just try opt out. Opt out is not an option.
Seems
You know,
to be,
if you're
you
in.
opt out now, it's not an option. Or if you are just, I'm favourable, but this guy isn't. But at the same time, we're in all of our lives, we're failing at this miserably by just being consumers in the Western world.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The hypocrisy and the contradiction in terms of just what goes into this iPhone and the amount of suffering that innocent people have to endure for us to so and those kids. But because they're not front and center and they don't have a voice and nobody can hear them. We talk about generalities, we talk about groups, but when you meet people individually, we're so naturally empathetic.
Yeah, you're very empathetic.
You do anything for anyone. I do anything for anyone. But I think what it was like, maybe in the past, you knew you want certainty, and there's not a lot of that knocking around.
I know, like the certainty point is very interesting. Like, let's say if we were here 100 years ago, the three of us.
Yeah, right.
We would be. I'm a Republican. I'm a Catholic. Like, that's what I want to do. Every day I wake up and how can I, this is more, how can I continue the nationalism of the country and spread the Catholicism or be a believer? Like, let's say somebody like your granddad.
Right.
I mean, he must have had, the burning instinct he had to get Irish independence, to fight for that, to fight in the Civil War, and then to go on and form a government. And I would assume he was probably fairly Catholic, as everybody was.
Yeah.
And so everything was anti-British, pro-Irish, pro-Catholic. So that must have been very relaxing in a way to just be able to get up and go, what do I have to do today? A United Ireland, Irish independence. So that's quite relaxing. So if you do have a cause, like this woman does have a cause, every day she knows what she's doing. She's fighting for that cause.
Right, yeah. So she's got certainty there.
Yeah.
And
we don't have certainty. What are we doing? Well, kind of monkeying around.
Certainty around what?
About our cause, our modus operandi, our raison d'etre.
And also the other thing, trans women aren't doing that for the crack.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're not just.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they're not. Sorry.
It's not like
trans women aren't like Marie. Can you stop coughing into the microphone? Trans women are not just like, it's such a serious big thing to be doing.
Yeah.
I'm a man and I want to, but I've always been a woman and I just want to get my body in line with that. And so the steps I would have to take, I mean, it's just a massive thing. So it's not frivolous. It's not an argument. It's not. It's a way of being. It's a way of life.
The way they talk about this idea that trans women are transitioning in order to be in women's bases.
Yeah, that's bollocks.
Like, if you go through all the surgery, all the social upheaval, all the hormones, you've made a lot of effort. Like, if that person is like, I want to meet that man who's made that much effort, really.
Yeah.
Because he's doing great.
He's
not a man, he's a woman. But if you go through all of that rigmarole, just to be able to go into a woman's bathroom, and let's face it, nothing exciting happens in women's bathrooms. Nothing.
But also the connotation is that trans women are a threat to women, or that they're predators, which is very
Some women find that they do feel scared of trans women being in female spaces. I don't. But I have a very low threshold of being scared. So some women do feel threatened by it in some way, but it's such a low number of trans women in the world. It's totally manageable if we all just work together.
Yeah.
Like, if a trans woman can just be like, okay, there's nobody there at the moment. It's not ideal.
But then there's the actual thing that seems to drive a wedge between people is most people are born man or woman. A man would be defined. You see, like when we're getting into that space where we're afraid to hurt certain people by defining a man and defining a woman.
I think it's fine to define somebody as a biological woman if they've got the chromosomes.
Yeah.
Because it helps. It's to help.
Oh.
I remember I went to the doctor for the first time in England and she asked me what race I was. And at first I was like,
yeah.
And then she said, are you white Irish, white Northern Irish, or white Irish traveller. I had 3 choices.
How come?
And I said the same thing. I was kind of a bit, is this important?
Yeah.
I just want to get the pill, Why are you asking me this? And she looked at me and she said, well, it's to help you. Because all those 3 groups have certain propensities for different diseases.
Oh.
And I asked my sister, who's a doctor, she said, yeah, absolutely. She listed off, blah, 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 these get these get this gets this. So we need to know your biological sex sometimes, because women and men's bodies are different biologically and everything like that. But the gender you can pick yourself, that's of course. Whatever you feel like, that's absolutely fine. But, root and branch, to help you on a scientific level, you have to still acknowledge biological sex.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm open to be corrected, of course. It's been, things just keep cropping up. We had Black Lives Matter became front and centre. The vaccine became front and centre. Now
Me Too became
Me
front and
Too.
centre. Yeah.
Now it's trans issues.
Yeah.
And there's a social left and right that keep fighting and are getting more and more and more polarised. And then maybe this is, it does, I wasn't really around in the 80s, but it does seem like it was a bit like this in the 80s as well. We had like Thatcherism versus socialism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's so true, Aideen. When I was growing up, it was like mods and rockers. It was, it's like it's life or death. If you don't love this particular musical genre, you're a fucking piece of shit. And it was really, it felt like it. Like if you walked around and dressed like a mod, you'd get the shit kicked out of you. So it's always been thus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to look back at the 90s. Like I was thinking, the 90s, there was a bit of peace. It was Bill Clinton, blowjobs and lollipops. He was no obvious war until 9/11. Yeah. I mean, Tony Blair, I was looking at one of those kind of Don't Look Back in Anger reading in the years programs, and Tony Blair asked for the soap opera character Deirdre Rashid to be freed from prison. It seems like it was a very peaceful time. There was not much going on. But then when you have a vacuum like that, then this kind of right-wing thing starts creeping because people forget. The Tradwife thing is coming in as well. You know about these Tradwives? No. Oh, you need to get yourself a Tradwife.
Yeah. I had a Tradwife.
Did you?
Hannah.
Who's a Tradwife? Hannah, really? Yeah.
Well, we had a traditional kind of husband-wife.
She stayed at home.
Yeah, and I went out and busked.
Yeah, that sounds nice. That's good.
Oh, I am so grateful for Hannah.
She's a wonderful person.
She's probably the
greatest girl ever.
Anyway, so this is a new thing now.
So the people are going back. The women, they want to stay. A lot of them on Instagram, they wear these milkmaid dresses. This is how you get a rich husband. You wear this milkmaid dress, which sinks you in your waist and pushes up your boobs, but it's also quite modest. So you're not. You have a low body count. You get married young. You have kids. You stay at home. You break everything from scratch. But ironically, all these trad wives on Instagram, they're making a fortune of money by being Instagram trad wives. So they're not trad wives. They're actually corporate women, performative corporate women. Candace Owens,
performative trad wives. Oh yeah. Candace Owens.
She's a trad wife, but yet you're on the Instagram, or you have your own program every day. Like your husband is cook compared to you, like with the amount of money you're making and how famous you are. So a lot of these women that openly espouse these traditional values are doing it for their own professional gain. So this trad wife, but I think women forget. I remember when my mother got her own PRSI number, she's just after the generation that had to stop working once you got married.
Yeah.
And I can see the benefits of being a trad wife, and I think it's a great thing to do. But give us it's not the only way to do it.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely not the only way to do it. It's good that women have rights. I mean, a traditional relationship is great. I do think that a woman should find a man who's a little bit superior to her, right? That she can kind of get guidance from. And
well, I mean, are you talking about financially, maybe?
But no, financially, mentally, spiritually.
Well, how are you going to get it? Emotionally, it's going to...
No, emotionally, no, you can't. I said spiritually.
Okay.
Emotionally, no. I heard recently on a podcast, I don't know if this is true, but it kind of made sense to me on an emotional level, that a man of an IQ of 130, which is high, supposedly has the emotional intelligence of a woman with an IQ of 70, which is like,
right,
oh,
that's
you need
interesting.
Help.
Yeah.
But spiritually, like somebody that, I would that has a good faith and good morals and stuff, because I can be morally sliding down.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's
so
a strong
that
moral.
I'm like a strong moral character that I can look up to.
Right.
Yeah. I would like that, but that would be the ideal. And then you would want to, you'd learn from this person and care for them. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
But it's funny. I know what you mean. We all have these templates of people or of partners that we are attracted to. I mean, there's that famous, guys, they wanted this in the bedroom and a mother in the kitchen,
and a bedroom, a whore,
and all this sort of stuff.
The car.
Yeah, I think at my stage now, I just like just a very chilled out relationship. I don't think I could live with someone really.
There's
at
too
this
much
point.
exercise equipment in the
Well,
house.
no, but I mean, it's also the place small. But I mean, if I was to live with someone, it would just I'd need more space. I think why can't you live there, we live there, and we just meet up with each other. I think that's nice. I think that's great. That's how I feel. I mean, when I was young, I was different.
Yeah.
Would you like to live with someone?
I would. Yeah.
Would you?
I would. Yeah. I think so. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I do. I would.
Just sit lying next to somebody all the time. Oh, Jesus.
I know what you mean. It is a bit of sucker of energy and time, and you have to be there all the time. You can't do your own thing as much. There's a lot of compromise involved. But I'll be happy no matter what. I'll be happy. We're living in the Western world. We've got everything we need. Really, I've got. We do have everything
we need. I mean, that's a really good point.
I have. I have a career that I'm really interested in. It's fun. It's fulfilling.
Yes.
I've got great friends.
Yes.
I've got lots going for me. So I'll be okay no matter what. The ideal situation is the man, but another ideal situation is I become a millionaire. Another ideal situation. These are ideals, but I'll be okay without.
Do you still have crypto?
I do.
Yeah. Which do you have? Bitcoin?
The best. Yeah, I know it's gone down a lot, but it'll push back up. I'm hodling through. Gold has shot up. I think I might sell my gold now because it's at a really good price.
I've got Ethereum.
Ethereum. Aoife's poor old Ethereum got my sister hacked.
I've got 5 Ethereums.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you have a Bitcoin, a full one?
No, I don't. I had.
Yeah. The last time you were with a guy?
Like a year.
Oh, really? You've been barren.
Yeah, I kissed a few people.
Is that you?
Tradwife.
That's Aideen. Do you get worried when you haven't had the ride in so long? You don't?
No, I have peace.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Peace. It's good. It's like incense now when you blow that cigarette. It's lovely.
Right. There is something to be said for that feeling of, when you're just there and there's no, it's nice.
Yeah, but my friend has asked me, me and my friend have started a dating podcast.
Yeah.
Called Old Maids on the Prowl. We might call it either. Actually, what do you guys think? What's better title? Old Maids on the Prowl or Cougars on the Prowl?
I don't know.
The lack of interest.
Cougar is straight to the point, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you understand what old maid is like? The woman knitting with her hair. Yeah, cougar is. But cougars is implying that we only went for younger men.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas I'm like an equal opportunities employer. I mean, I'm a bit old for David, but
Cougars on the prowl. Cougars on the prowl. Cougars on the hunt. Cougars on the prowl.
Cougars on the town.
Cougars on the town. What? Think of another word with C. Cougars on the...
Cougars on the count. Yeah, okay. I see what you bit of alliteration.
Cougars
on
the
Cougars on the clock. This is good. You're right. A bit of alliteration never went straight. Desperate.
Desperate. No.
Desperate at Dahad, if it was in Irish language. If it was T.G. Cahir, they always do one word in English, one word in Irish, like jigs agus reels or gig jig or whatever. So desperate agus Dahad. That's desperate in 40. If any of your listeners have any suggestions, but yeah, we've done 4 episodes so far, and we talk about dates we've gone on and tips for dating once in middle age.
What is a red flag for being on a date with you?
Red flag.
Oh, what do you call them? An ick.
An ick. Oh, so that's interesting. An ick would be kind of overly flashy clothes and very strong cologne, things like that. Maybe it would be something just in my personal taste that I don't like the way they're dressed. And then, but icks aren't red flags. You can sometimes push through the ick if their personality is good enough. You can like, get through the ick. You could drink through the ick for sure.
Yeah.
I used to drink through the ick. And then the red flag would be like something like the classic. Oh yeah, I'm going through a divorce at the moment. And then you're like, oh, we're separated, but we're living in the same house for the kids.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
And then you're like, they send you a selfie from their bedroom, but it's like got loads of the woman's jewellery in it or something.
no.
Like that. Yeah,
Has
that's
that
a red
happened?
flag. Of course, you have to get to know somebody. For me, because
Yeah.
I've made the mistake. I'll be, dating whatever. I'm not that keen on the guy, but he's okay. I'll hop into bed, and the oxytocin will explode in my body, and that's like morphine. And you feel bonded to this man. Your subconscious thinks you're pregnant, and you just throw yourself at this man that you're not really interested in. And of course, once he's slept with you, the opposite. He's spilt a seed, and he'd be iffy about
Why
you.
does that happen with guys? Well, what the fuck? Does that? There must be a biological imperative.
There is a biologic. See, we're designed because sex for us is much more high stakes. If a woman, they're the ones that are going to carry the child for 9 months.
Right.
So we have to be a bit more picky.
Right.
Women are the gatekeepers of sex. We say no to 95% of men on internet dating. Men, sex for you is low risk. If you get a woman pregnant, you can just, it's caveman times. You don't really have to deal with it. So men swipe right on 60% of women on internet dating, but men are the gatekeepers of relationships. So men are rejected sexually all the time. Women are rejected for relationships all the time.
Okay.
So once a man has slept with you a few times, often they're not as interested. They're not, but you're fooled because you've slept with them too early. You're thinking, oh, I'm really interested. I have to get this guy, and this, you think that you're interested in him. You're not. So it's better to wait a longer time so that doesn't happen. And you genuinely know.
Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think actually,
and men, a man, if you haven't slept with a man, he'll do anything for you. Like I'm in the airport, I'm giving you a lift, but you're in Clare, I don't care. I'm up to Dublin. They'll do anything for you. Keep that going for as long as possible.
Oh, I see.
They're
That's
so nice. The door opening, the paying, the giving you lifts. Now, I'm not doing it on purpose.
No,
but
I think
build up. It's great. It's
exciting. It is.
Yeah.
And I think it is a smarter way for both parties.
Yeah.
To really get to know each other. I think, and then I think it's. I mean, if that's what you want, it has much more of a potential to have a long-lasting relationship with someone.
Yeah, it does, and you get to know somebody properly. So I came from a very traditional family. My dad trained to be a priest, and very religious, very conventional, and I railed against that. I threw out the whole book.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, you
absolutely.
Yeah.
I bought into that 90s thing of the ladette culture. Like drinking pints, balancing it on their arse, and just being a feminism to me was acting like a man. That's what I bought into, like girl power and all of that kind of stuff. And I threw out every single lesson because my parents wouldn't explicitly tell me anything, but just I knew there was that disapproval of everything. And now I'm like, oh, some of the stuff was right. Traditions are like stuff that's worked over time. It's not like this rule that they were putting on me so that my life would be bad. It was this hot tip that they had so my life would be better, and my olden ways didn't work.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about being young. It doesn't matter if I'm going in the right direction. I'm just going in a direction that's the opposite to the one you're telling me to go in.
Yeah, maybe you did a bit of that too.
Oh,
I mean, your
100%
father would have been a pillar.
Oh yeah, well, I
society.
just couldn't wait to get the hell out.
I couldn't wait to get the hell out.
I couldn't wait to
house.
get just get out and just fuck up somewhere else.
Yeah.
No.
How did the special taping go? I didn't see.
Oh
yours. I
yeah,
had to go
no.
off
So
and do
yeah,
something
did
else.
you? Yeah, we did a special taping for Eddie Malarkey's YouTube thing, and I'm dreading it. But anyway.
I heard you were great.
No. I wasn't. I hate. I was doing a gig. My two neighbours came to a gig, and then afterwards, I was talking to my neighbour, and she said, "Oh yeah, no, I was talking to," and she said, "We should go again." And then her mate said, "Oh no, but he does the same material all the time." and they've only gone to 2 gigs, and that really
hurts.
Well,
that hurts.
no,
You
but
don't.
not,
Of all the comedians, you don't do the same.
no,
material
but not hurt.
Neighbours are wrong.
No, but the penny dropped. I just thought, well, number one, like if I look out into my audience, like the people that come to my gigs, they're all kind of older, and you're just looking at them and you go, fuck's sake. But then of course they should be older, because I'm, and then I thought, just as a result of hearing that comment, really challenge myself, just drop everything and just write a new show. I don't know how I'd do it. I've never done it before, but I always have that feeling in my mind. In the same way I have the feeling to give up cigarettes. I just never seem to be able to do it.
So did you just do all new material for the special?
No, I didn't. I did some new material. No, but you can't do all new material. No,
that would be
But also
crazy.
then I thought it would be great to do a special in front of 2 people. Like, the way people, hey, live in Fleurville, it's all like that. No, why not live in front of these 2 bastards and try and figure out a way
Somebody's
to make
done
those
it.
fuckers like... Have they?
Well, kind of. Maria Banford.
Okay.
So during COVID, she did a special in her house, I think the crowd grows up to her garden. So it starts off with just her and her dog.
Yeah.
Then her parents come in and are watching her. Then like her husband or.
Oh, well,
and
that's not what
goes
it's
a little
about.
bit.
Yeah.
But you just want to do it. We could do it now in front of me and Daniel.
Yeah. So
Here live.
okay, Jesus.
Portobello.
And just tailor a performance to people who are not in my demographic.
So it would be a young Latina woman.
Well, yeah, but then guys would think, yeah, he's just trying to get into the knickers of women.
Okay, then an aged woman.
Okay, there you
in her
go.
70s,
There you go. That could be it. Yeah.
And
an aged
a young twink of a man.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! What a horror show. Aideen, you being sexual, the way you're trying to say
you don't like it.
No, it looks like what does it look like? It looks like a Disney character, like some like trying to be like a little antelope trying to be your friend. Like it's like, hey, the fuck, what are you up to?
Rubbing my nose.
Go away.
Against the microphone.
It's like a little lamb going. No, I remember talking about the ick, and I'm sure I've talked about this before. God love her, but this woman, she left the room and she pretended she was gone for longer than she was, and when she came back, she
Sorry, how can you pretend that you're gone?
Well, no, I'm
It's
telling
like a
you why.
philosophical wonder.
Sorry. No.
Yeah.
The way she greeted me when she came back into the room was as if she hadn't seen me in ages, and then she put on a little childlike kind of, I was sitting over there and I look over, and then she goes like, "Hi," and what is that supposed to be? Look, like this. Look,
Was she being
look,
funny?
No, she fucking wasn't. Whatever. Look. And like, even as I say it now, that stomach where you just like instant, it's just it was just,
Yeah.
like, but so let's break that one down. Look, hi, yeah. What is she pretending that it's like the start of a great journey?
Yeah.
And we're just beginning. And I haven't seen you, but I'm full of love, but I'm scared, but I'm not. Ah! And it's like, oh my God. Hi. Fuck off! Get.
And did you see her again?
No.
Was it
Oh,
just
God.
so the ick is just a symptom?
Oh,
I think.
that was a gick.
like the ink. It's just
That was an ink.
The ink.
It was ink.
The gink.
It was bigger than a gick. It was a shick,
Ink.
flick,
Shink.
bick.
The ick is a symptom of something worse, I think. So if you had really been getting on well with this woman, you had a great emotional connection, and she went, huh? You'd be like, that's gas.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's gas. She's
I
being
see.
hilarious.
Oh, if she was being hilarious.
Yeah,
But
because
don't
sometimes
think
I
she-
do that. I used to do that to an ex of mine. I used to just go, I'm shy.
Yeah.
And it was part of our band.
Yeah.
I assume he loved it. I don't think he gave him the ick.
I
think he gave him
I
the
just
dick.
like to say, after what Aideen just did, I hope everyone's safe.
Ask Angela if you're
That's Ganja.
upset by this.
Do you
know what it is, though?
Do
Do
a
you know what it
sexual
is?
thing to the camera for guys so they can get off on it. Go on. Hi.
I'm shy. But the thing is, men aren't frightened of physical intimacy. Like men aren't really frightened of physical intimacy. So let's say if a man, like I was at a wedding recently, I was singing at the wedding, and there was a wedding music guy, and he kept kind of touching my side bum. You know that? It's still not illegal, but not great. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why is he keeps doing this? And I was like, okay, it's physical intimacy. If I did it back to him, he'd be delighted. Or if I did it to another man, they'd be like, that's a bit weird. Why is she touching my side bun? But no man is going to the police about that. But emotional intimacy terrifies men more. So she was kind of, it was the equivalent of that man grabbing my hips. She did with you, where she did that emotional intimacy thing where she was kind of, brought you on this journey of your relationship should be this wonderful, magical thing that she's tentative about. So that's why it gave you the ick. But
no, I don't. I hear.
She pretended she was gone for like a day or two. Hi, we're beginning over.
Yeah.
It's me and you against the world.
You see, that's the problem. That's because you're on board with that girl. Sorry, I would like to say, I think we can be honest now. It was Aideen. That was the woman.
I was too shy to talk about myself. I have to talk about myself in the third person.
So what about that guy that was grabbing your side bum? Did you tell him to feck off, or no, did you like him?
I didn't like him. No, I didn't know him. I was just singing at my friend's wedding. And he was.
And how was he doing it? He was just. When he was talking, was he
every time he spoke to me? No, he wasn't. He was the professional musician, and my friend was like, "Will you sing a few songs?" And it was really weird because English weddings they put no effort in. So the vicar was like, he had a half an hour of a set ready, and the wedding organisers, can you spread it out a bit more because we haven't got the sandwiches ready. So the vicar and girl getting married to Kirsty, they were like, can you please sing as many songs as you can? And I was like, yes, brilliant. So I just went up to this guy and I was like, do you know this song? Maybe we can get a backing track or whatever. And just every time he spoke to me, he'd be like, first it was on the shoulder, then the next time he touches me here, yeah, no problem. So at first it was just like reassuring shoulder, then it was like kind of cocky aside, and then suddenly a few times kind of on the side ass.
Oh, right.
I don't know what he'd be doing at the end of the night, but he was just overly touchy-feely in a way that men are conscious of not being these days. So I wasn't actually offended by it. It didn't really bother me that much, but then again I have a very low standard of sexual harassment. But I just thought, God, does he not know that you're not meant to do this to women anymore? But if I and how would I have gotten revenge on him? Probably if I'd done something really intimate like, hi, I think we'd have such sexy kids. Like something creepy. That would creep men more out than touching. Yeah. So that's creepy for men, isn't it?
I don't know. But listen, Aideen, I just love hanging out with you. You're so much fun. You're such a breath of fresh air. No, Aideen, I can't. Your hands are too clammy.
Yes. He really loves me. Can we get if you're single when you're 90 and I'm whatever age I am when you're 90, 67.
Yeah, we'd go courting.
Can we go courting?
Hey, I mean,
your dad is still hot at like whatever age he is.
Jesus. Genuinely,
such a babe. And
thank you, my Prince Daniel. And I don't know, genuinely, honestly, from a deep place of authenticity, we love. Trans men and trans women. Yes. I mean, really. And please don't worry about Aideen Killian being, like trying to take over Irish comedy and turn it into a far right place. No. It would never, ever, ever, ever happen.
All the comedians are on the dole anyway. They're all socialists. It's not going to work.
And I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I just want to say I admire you.
I admire you.
I was only thinking about you on the way over, how you often call yourself a narcissist, but you're not a narcissist. And you might be a little bit involved with yourself, as we all can be, but you always are there for me. When I have troubles, I can always ring Dave McSavage and you really listen and empathise. So I just wanted you to let you know that. Uncomfortable, emotional intimacy.
To all those people who feel marginalised, feel they're not listened to, feel they're undermined, I have a very important message.